Hey guys, Jose here from Train Me Please, and today I want to give you my top 10 tips and recommendations for anyone living with a dog.
Living with a dog can be an amazing experience. Let's start with a consideration for those that do not yet live with a dog or those that are considering getting one in the near future. Then, let's move to tips and recommendations that apply to those that already live with a dog.
Number one is, do you have the time and money to look after a dog? In order to offer your dog the best life possible, you will need some time. You will have to interact with the dog several times a day for extended periods of time. Dogs are not cheap. From food to enrichment items to vet bills, all of these things count. So you should honestly think about whether or not you can afford to live with a dog. Number two is socialization. If you have a young puppy, socialization is extremely important. This one has a deadline, so you definitely do not want to postpone when you start socializing your puppy. In my opinion, waiting until the puppy is fully vaccinated to start the socialization program would be a mistake. With that said, you should use a little bit of common sense and be really mindful of where you take your puppy. It's important to offer your puppy lots of positive experiences when he meets other people, other animals, and new places. Even though it is important for your puppy to meet lots of other puppies, perhaps even more important than that is the quality of those interactions. You want your puppy to meet lots of friendly other dogs and puppies that ideally are fairly casual and fairly low energy when they are in the proximity of other dogs. Full on free contact, high energy play is not necessarily the best option when you are thinking on how to socialize your puppy with other dogs. If you live with a dog, you are a dog trainer, and that is my tip number three. Dogs will learn things from the moment they wake up in the morning to the moment they go to sleep at night. It is your duty then to know how to best train your dog.
There is a lot of really good information out there about the wonderful world of positive reinforcement-based training. If you explore this topic, you're going to have a lot of fun and you are going to build an amazing relationship with your dog.
My recommendation number four is pay attention who you listen to in anything that concerns your dog. Everyone has an opinion on how to train dogs. Your neighbor is going to tell you how to get your dog to stop jumping. Your coworker is going to tell you how he got his dog to stop stealing food from the kitchen counter. I am of the opinion that you should listen to certified dog behaviorists and certified behavioral consultants that use a modern, positive approach to teaching dogs. Tip number five, get professional help. Consider hiring a certified behavior consultant or a certified dog trainer. Find someone that uses a modern, fun, force-free, and positive reinforcement approach based to training dogs. Professional help can really kickstart your dog training. Tip number six is closely consider what you feed your dog and how you feed your dog. Generally speaking, dog owners do quite a bit of research on what they should be feeding their dogs. And this is a good thing. You should do that. You should do some research on what you should be feeding your dog. And luckily for us, there's more than one correct way to feed our dogs. Generally speaking, go for the most premium option you can afford, be it homemade or buying some premium food option. Perhaps less explored, but in my opinion, as important as what you feed your dog is how you feed your dog. In my opinion, food bowls are not a great option. I prefer to offer them food in training sessions and using enrichment. I don't have the time to go into a lot of detail in this video, but I'll link in the comment section below some other videos in which I dig a little bit deeper into these topics. Tip number seven is learn about the most positive, least intrusive way of training animals. If you have a natural tendency to verbally or even physically correct the behaviors that you don't like, I'm here to tell you that there is a very high amount of research out there suggesting that that is not the best approach.
A much better option, and one that I have explored in some of my other videos, is to use the hierarchy of behavior change procedures, shared with us by Dr. Susan Friedman. Thinking this way will make sure that we prioritize the least intrusive, most positive ways of teaching our dogs. In a nutshell, we want to consider the environment where the dog lives as well as its medical condition, and use good antecedent arrangement and positive reinforcement as much as possible when we are trying to modify behavior. Other potentially less friendly ways to teach our dogs should never be our first stop when we are trying to come up with a plan to teach our dogs.
Suggestion number 8. Learn about the ABC framework. A stands for antecedent, B stands for behavior, and C stands for consequence. If you know how to set up your antecedents and how to provide the appropriate consequences, you can modify behavior very efficiently. The best trainers in the world are very good at setting up their antecedents or the environment in which the dog is, so that the dog is likely to show the behaviors they want to see. When that behavior happens, they use positive reinforcement to make that behavior happen more in the future. Let me give you a very quick example. In my opinion, it's much better to teach your dog to sit when you walk through the door, or to teach your dog to do a shoulder to knee target, to put its shoulder against your knee when you walk through the door, and then positively reinforce the dog for that behavior, than it is to wait for the dog to jump on you and then to verbally or even physically correct the dog. ABCs are really important, so I'll offer some more information in the comment section below. Number 9. Do a lot of engagement and attention exercises. These are fun, fast-paced exercises that have the goal of getting the dog to want to look at you, to want to interact with you. For me, having the dog looking at me and paying attention to me and wanting to interact with me is more important than jumping straight into sit, stay, or leash walking. That is why when I work with private clients, I spend a lot of time working on attention and engagement exercises. So basically, more attention and engagement exercises and less corrections, less aversives. And finally, tip number 10, learn about shaping. Shaping means that we train by successive approximations. We break the entire behavior down to the simple components, and we work on each element at a time. We start on the simplest thing possible, and then we start adding elements to it. As we progress, the behavior starts to look more and more like the end goal behavior. When you train this way, you are giving the dog more opportunities to achieve success, and you're trying to get the dog to learn with as little mistakes as possible.
Here's an example. Maybe your dog is not ready to go for a walk around the block on a loose leash, but perhaps you would manage to get your dog to go for a few steps in the living room on a loose leash.
That's your first approximation. Maybe the next one is 3 steps with the door maybe a little bit open. You keep adding elements until the behavior resembles the final behavior.
Living with a dog can be one of the most amazing experiences one can have. Everyone should have the opportunity of interacting with these amazing animals. Let's do it right though. Let's use science, compassion, love, and let's give them lots of opportunities to have fun when we interact with them.
Thank you so much for watching this video. It would be awesome if you could smash the like button. That's it for this one. I'll catch you in the next one.